What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with another Cure Thursday, and we're continuing through Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, 1987, and I wanted to start by giving another massive thank you to Elmar, who sent me another donation in relation to this deep dive. So, once again, I apologize. It took me a few times before I finally remembered to say it on camera, but I shall not forget again. And once more, thank you for another contribution to all my activities, and specifically to the Cure Deep Dive, as well as to Phil for providing these deluxe editions and all the folks who've made this part of their weekly activities. In any case, the second tune on the album is Catch. Just that, catch, which of course can be a verb or a noun. Someone can be a catch, meaning they're a great find or a great prize to be had. Of course, you can catch something that is thrown or that is falling. I feel like maybe there could be both of those meanings and more. It's a single word title. They are notoriously difficult to get a read on, but obviously there's some concepts to start with, and I would expect them to be figurative, even if also visual and maybe literal. So let's see what it is in practice. This is The Cure. The tune is Catch, and it's the second track from their 1987 album Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me.
1, 2.
Sometimes try to catch her, but never even caught her name. Yes, I sometimes even try to catch her, but never even caught her name.
What a quirky little tune. I enjoyed trying to follow the lyrics. I think I heard most of them. I'm interested because it's like he's saying that this person being spoken to is not actually this girl that he used to know and apparently roll around on the floor with, but he never actually caught her name and she was always falling. So I wonder, because it's like, oh, she used to smile like you and she used to stare. It's like, is it actually the same girl? I suppose not, because he's explicitly drawing that distinction, but if everything about her appearance and behavior is just like this other girl, it makes me wonder. Nevertheless, yeah, like we definitely have catching her as in someone who's falling, but he didn't catch her name, which I thought was clever, because it's still about like grabbing something that is passing by, but obviously a more like figurative meaning in that regard. I didn't catch your name, like what was your name? But apparently, again, there's a suggestion of intimacy, and thus it's, maybe like, oh, two ships that bump in the night, but nothing ever came of it, and now she's in my past. And you remind me of her, and she actually used to smile and stare like that. So I wonder if there is the same person at play, both in the past and present. Even if it's not, I'm wondering, what about this woman made her, have this look. I should also mention the way this song is delivered. It's really eccentric vocals from Robert. Like, we've heard that before, but here it's almost like he's kind of thinking aloud. He's just kind of musing, and like he's looking at this person in the present, seemingly. And it's like we're hearing his internal monologue, even though it is addressed like, second person to the woman standing there. So yeah, there's a suggestion of passage of time, there's a suggestion of some interaction he had with this previous woman, and then it's kind of like all coming back to his senses here in the present, unless, of course, again, like he's projecting and there's no one really in front of him, or he's, actually like, it's the same person, but it's like, oh, there's this other person, and you're not that person anymore. It feels like there could be some different ways you could take it, but, taking it at face value, she's like this other person, and so we wonder about the similarity. Of course, that violin was just beautiful. It was simple, and it was just sort of going back and forth, but it really gave an elegance to the tune, which is funny, because again, it's sort of in contrast with Robert's delivery, which, it's not like his typical mode of singing. It's not like his most eccentric and weird singing, which you've heard in a couple cases, but it really just felt like he was like emotionally thinking out loud. I also enjoyed the guitar. There were a couple, like electric guitar chords that caught my ear, but it was that like strummed or even like plucked, not really Spanish style guitar, but it was played in a way that was more like folksy and simple. That really caught my ear. And yeah, short, I want to say this player, I always have to like restart it. Give me one moment. Yeah, under 3 minutes, so more than 2.5, but under 3 minutes, so definitely on the shorter end. But I really found myself transfixed by the implied story that was being cognitively unfolded by the narrator. And yeah, like, in some ways, I would say it was less typical Cure sound, meaning it didn't have that, dark art pop sound. It didn't have a post-punk sound. It didn't have that light and catchy feel. It was more cerebral and elegant in its stylings, with the offsetting notion of, or character of, Robert's vocals. So a really interesting one. I'm very curious what people have to say about this. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was clever with the phrasing, and seemingly it was operating on multiple levels in terms of catching. And that's another thing, like, why was she falling so much? Is that falling, like, psychologically? Is it falling literally because she was inebriated? Is it falling for multiple people, including the narrator? Is it falling down in the passion with the narrator as they rolled on the floor? And what was it like? Oh, I forget the first part. It was like, I don't think something happened, but why is it that I woke up sore? So yeah, like I'm on the edges of this one, even though I heard a lot of the words. I do wonder what people might have to say. Let me know, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.